I fulfilled the responsibilities as listed in my job duties. Number two, I coordinated with my manager on my duties and completed those, which is amazing that you would create all of this wasted time for workers and managers to do this
and Elon
in the
Musk,
name of efficiency.
There actually have been sort of competing things from Elon Musk too, who on the one hand is saying that this is just a quote pulse check. Like he's repeatedly said, this is just to make sure that you're not dead, right? Like you're not a fake person. We're cutting down on waste, fraud, and abuse by just getting these responses back. But on the other hand, he's saying like, and we've seen it from the White House too on the messaging, is that like, we don't think people are doing serious work. So are you supposed to take it as just a pulse check, or are you supposed to take it as an actual inquiry about the substance of your work? It's genuinely like there are thousands of people who have faced this conundrum over the course of the past week, some of them in very important jobs, others of them probably in less important jobs. But if we have put B2 up on the screen here, this is a scoop from NBC News that 21 DOGE staffers have resigned over a refusal to, quote, jeopardize American sensitive data, according to a letter that NBC News got. Ryan, did you read this report? It's pretty, I don't know, I think all of this doesn't portend well for the future of DOGE, to be honest.
So in defense of DOGE, these are...
Doggy.
In defense of Doggy, these are people who were already in the doghouse when the dog pound boss showed up. Because this was the U.S., what was it called? The Digital Services Office?
Yes.
Office of Digital Services. And they just repurposed it as Doggy. And so these folks are, these are former Google, lots of Silicon Valley tech people who decided they wanted to come work in the government and help the government become more efficient. That's why they went, that's why they took this agency and converted it into DOGE. And so these are not diehard Elon Musk fans.
Yes.
Or these are not MAGA types. So,
I mean, it's arguably the deep state that he's targeting.
Except, it's a fairly new deep state. But so, to me, it's almost surprising that they lasted this long. So, I don't think it's that damaging necessarily to Doggy, because I think they can find some pups that'll come in and do their dirty work. Like there's more than one big balls out in Silicon Valley that they can. There's no shortage of 19-year-olds on 4chan that Musk can, recruit to come and do this work.
The response from Elon Musk was, quote, these were Dem political holdovers who refused to return to the office. They would have been fired had they not resigned.
That
Katie Miller,
probably true. Yeah.
Katie Miller said, quote, these were full remote workers who hung trans flags from their workplaces. That's the Katie Miller response to this. Again,
what grade are we in here?
Probably true.
Yeah, might be true.
So anyway, they also named the DOGE administrator yesterday. Like, I think it was the Washington Examiner finally got their hands on the name of the person who is
Obama
the DOGE.
Person.
Yes, an Obama person who seemed to have been on vacation, who was formerly part of the USDS. And this is interesting because Elon Musk was seen as the head of DOGE, and then the White House confirmed last week that Elon Musk was not even part of DOGE formally, but was employed by the White House and sort of oversaw DOGE in his capacity as a White House official, as a special, quote, special government employee. So anyway, I guess I shouldn't have said that this doesn't portend well for the future of DOGE, but it does just... There's an air of chaos around DOGE that doesn't bother the people involved in it at all. I mean, I think a lot of this was always intentionally, understandably going to involve chaos. Everyone sort of knew that. But there's chaos, and then there's chaos that's inefficient, ironically. And in this case, I do think there's the email one is a really good example. There's chaos to the point of creating inefficiencies to the end of efficiency. Like in the process of creating efficiency, it's just been a very, it was always going to be messy, but they're creating more work unnecessarily for themselves.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this weekly email thing? Like, I've seen a lot of people be like, well, there's nothing wrong with like a worker telling their boss what they did the last week. It's like, bro, you don't think that they were already doing that? I guess if you have bottom barrel levels of hostility towards all federal workers, and you think that managers aren't managing their workers and workers aren't actually doing any work, then you need to come in and tell them to do this. But if you checked in, you'd see like this is a bureaucracy. This is a giant bureaucracy. The one thing that bureaucracies definitely do is this kind of stuff. What did you do? Like, what did you get done last week? Like, who did you check in with? What meetings did you have?
It's half the work. It's just having meetings about meetings.
Yes, that's half of what and it is the criticism of a bureaucracy.
They spend too much time keeping track of that stuff.
Right, and so now Musk is going to come in with another TPS report that they have to complete that is supposed to be in the name of efficiency. It's like, so it's so dumb, it raises the question, okay, well, what are they really doing? What's really going on here? Like, are they actually trying to create chaos under the old argument that Democrats would always make about Republicans, that they don't like government, and so then when they get in power, they make it not work, and then they point to the fact that it doesn't work under them as reason that you should get rid of the government. Because is it really just as simple as that old thing, just now dressed up as a sleek Cybertruck?
As a sleek Cybertruck. Wow, that was beautiful. Very poetic. Yeah, that was a very poetic touch.
I mean, putting this stuff out for free.
Yes. Well, not if you want it commercial free.
If you want it commercial free, go to breakingpoints.com.
So Ro Khanna posted a video of a fired VA worker that, just in this bigger conversation about inefficiencies, I mean, the email point, I think some of this obviously is intentional. I mean, the Rust vote playbook was explicitly before the election to cause trauma for bureaucrats. And so, I think that's obviously the playbook and part of this. But again, there's inefficiencies that are sort of inevitable when you're creating chaos, and then there's inefficiencies that are hurting your effort to battle inefficiencies. So let's take a look at this video that Ro Khanna posted of some people who have been affected by various cuts. We can roll this.
I'm a veteran. I deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan. Anybody who asked me, I would have told them I was voting for Trump. But at this point, obviously I never would have expected things to go this far. So this was really a job that meant a lot to me. So it was a way for me to help veterans that are struggling.
I served this country, but now under Trump's executive orders, I'm being discarded like I don't matter.
I don't think anybody's opposed to the idea of government efficiency and really getting rid of wasteful practices, but doing it in such a chaotic manner that leads to people getting fired by the tens of thousands.
This was my dream job, and it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless.
I literally sank in my chair. I had no idea that without due process that I could just be terminated out of the blue. I was a highly performing individual.
I would just ask President Trump and anybody else that might be in charge to reconsider your decision.
The United States of America is not a social media or tech company, and it should not be run like one.
Mr. President, many of these people voted for you.
I don't regret voting for President Trump, but the actual policies being pursued just don't comport at all with the actual goals of the administration.
We want them reinstated.
It's an absolute travesty that the president the other day said that Elon Musk was a patriot. When we see how many veterans we have on the line that are being absolutely devastated by this.
This has been devastating for our family. We have a mortgage. We have to pay for a preschool.
Mine happened on February 15th, but the day before, what many reporters are calling the Valentine's Day Massacre, my computer went black and I was unable to sign back into my computer.
I was the source of our family's health care. It's put us in a pretty strenuous position right now.
People getting fired and bringing back because they were fired without realizing how crucial their work is. It really leads to mistrust from the general public and steers people away from a career in public service.
I was anticipating having, 12 weeks of paternity leave through my work with the USDA.
I mean, Ryan, we talked about for months before DOGE actually went into effect, DOGE actually went into effect, that there were going to be all kinds of tear-jerking images of fired federal workers, whether they're on the streets with their ferns and boxes or talking in these videos that Democrats put out that make the process, complicate the politics of the process for Republicans. Now, a Harvard-Harris poll this week found pretty widespread support for DOGE, I think, to the
worst pollster in America. We should underscore.
Although to be fair, other, because it's Mark Penn's. To be fair, other polls have found similar results.
If you ask, should you cut federal spending?
Yes.
And
Well, and the reason I bring that up is because to the extent Republicans are able to say this is just about waste, fraud, and abuse, and they keep saying waste, fraud, and abuse, waste, fraud, and abuse, then they can politically sort of win the battle and overcome the obstacles of having all of these tear-jerking stories circulated through media and by Democrats. But those